We've thought about first general concepts of diversity. We've looked at history and culture. Now we want to focus on how society thinks about itself and various groups in society. Think about this for a moment. Just asking how do we think about blacks or whites or Hispanics or gays implies that we think in one single way about each group and the people who are a part of the group. It almost invites you to create generalizations and stereotypes. We know everyone is an individual, yet we still draw conclusions about people because they appear to us to belong to a certain group. Generalizations and stereotypes are similar. Generalizations talk about tendencies. They say certain people or situations or things tend to be or behave in a certain way. A stereotype, however, takes that generalization and attributes it to all members of that group. Men tend to be more aggressive than women is a generalization. Because you're a man, you are more aggressive than that woman is a stereotype. Women tend to be more nurturing than men is a generalization. You are a woman and therefore you are nurturing is a stereotype. Men are aggressive implies all men are aggressive. Women are nurturing implies all women are nurturing. There may be generalized tendencies, but they can be all wrong for any particular man or woman. Generalizations and stereotypes both can be either true or false. They can attribute good as well as bad qualities. You might say, it's not just the bad stuff. You might say Asians are smart, blacks are athletics, men are decisive, or it can be derogatory concepts. Stereotypes can arise in part from overgeneralization. I see something in one situation, and now I believe it's true in all situations. I see a tendency of a person who is a member of some group, and I've already said, oh, they're a member of that group. So now they do something, and I think that's true for all members of that group. My attributions interact with my prejudices. I see someone doing something I disagree with, and I attribute it to a personal characteristic that may have nothing to do with the behavior. The reason they did it is, I say this because they're lazy and good for nothing. Stereotypes can also arise from defensive rationalizations. People who are not like me are a threat, so I attribute bad qualities to them to justify my fear. They're lazy, loud, stupid, clumsy. They're like animals. They have no feelings. They're evil. All of these sort of justify who I am. You may recall the word epistemology from your research methods class. Epistemology is the study of how we come to believe we know things. Up until maybe 100 years ago, people learned about other people mostly from personal experience. But today, the vast amount of information about what we think we know about people comes from media of some sort, from shows, movies, games, television, magazines, books, commercials, social and other media. Our epistemology, how we know things, is filtered through and shaped by the media. And when I say media, I'm not talking about news outlets. I'm talking about everything that produces information. It shapes us and we can't help it. That's where most of our information comes from. It shapes what we think we know. And that gives those who create those messages great power. When we talk about how people understand the world, we sometimes use the term that I have in previously of narrative. Narratives are the stories we tell ourselves about the way things are and why they are that way. And we don't think of them as stories, just like we don't think we have culture. We just think of them as facts. Saying it's a narrative does not mean it's not true or not based on truth. We may tell ourselves and others about what it takes to be wealthy or what it takes to succeed at a job. These are narratives. We may talk about why those kind of people do not succeed as much as we do, and that's also a narrative. We may say those people make good bankers because they have a history of handling money. We may say those people are good manicurists because of their personalities and culture. We learn these narratives from our family and from the information we receive through various messages of media that come to us. Narratives are what we tell ourselves is true. Narratives often make use of stereotypes. We use stereotypes to tell jokes that reinforce those stereotypes. Did you hear the one about the blonde? Most of those jokes attribute negative qualities about people, and we end up internalizing these stereotypes as real, as true. These biased stereotypes are not just wrong, they're bad management. They hurt some of your employees and they create conflict. They result in inaccurate evaluations of people and situations, ultimately resulting in lower productivity and inefficiency. Productivity and efficiency aren't the only things that matter, but the point is that the inaccurate evaluations of people based on stereotypes are not just ethically bad, they're bad management. You may have heard the phrase social construction before. The concept simply that we believe that what we believe to be reality comes from all this input, the social input that we receive rather than from reality itself. And as more and more of our knowledge comes from media rather than personal experience, what we think we know is shaped, constructed by what we hear, what we read, what we watch. Society influences what we say we know. That may be easy to accept intellectually, but it's real difficult to sort it out in our own thinking.